With Death Battle's 9th season just around the corner, I figured it's time we complete our ranking of their previous season as we cover the last 8 episodes. Now, we will be doing things a little bit differently than the last 3 Death Battle rankings, where we will just go through the remaining episodes we did not cover in chronological order, and then I will show you my rankings at the end. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. Batman vs. Iron Man was the mostly unanticipated return to combat after several months. Don't get me wrong here, the episode itself is not bad, but it was unanticipated because myself and many others were not excited for a 4th and possibly not last Batman episode. I loved The Dark Knight, but appearing this many times in Death Battle just wasn't worth having to wait that long of a hiatus to see him come back. But aside from that gripe, what about the episode itself? Well, it is awesome! Both returning combatants have rundowns that felt fresh, and the editing was outstanding as always. If you don't know a combatant or just don't like sitting through numbers, you will always be blown away by the editing of one Nick Kramer. And it was on a whole different level in this one. As for the fight itself, it's pretty good. The sprite work is spectacular, and the action is entertaining. Really, that's all I could want in any given Death Battle. But considering this was the first episode after the hiatus, and it featured 2 returning combatants, good enough doesn't cut it for me. If we're going to have Batman and Iron Man come back for the last time, why not give them the utmost awesome last episode the 2 deserve? It is still a good episode though. Batman's rundown is completely different from the previous 3, Iron Man's dope suits are given the time they deserve, and that kill is pretty slick. But how are Batman's feet still there? I guess considering he kicked the Spectre, his feet must have multiverse level durability. I've always said that a great Death Battle episode includes smooth character rundowns, a visually spectacular and combatively stimulating fight, with a post-fight breakdown that can unite both sides of the 2 combatants. No one episode does this quite like Goku Black vs. Reverse Flash. I've never been a huge Dragon Ball fan because I just didn't watch the show, but Black's rundown made me want to sit through all of that content. And Eobard's rundown makes me remember those weekends watching CW's The Flash, as well as the Flashpoint movie. They do great things for both characters to entice newbies and rekindle veterans alike. Oh, and you know I can't talk about these rundowns without bringing up the amazing work from my boy, Nick Kramer. The way these panels come to life, it's just beautiful stuff. But Death Battle wouldn't be as huge as it is if not for the fight. And Luis's team blew this one out of the park. The style, the visuals, the memes, and that finisher, woo! I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And to think this episode almost didn't make the roster. Oof, this episode is something. Matcha Man vs. Kool-Aid Man is unfortunately not as special of an episode as I was anticipating. The previews had me much enticed, but the full 12-minute episode just really didn't do it for me. Yeah, it's cool to see Jocelyn, Ringmaster, and Boomstick's mom, but the main thing that people watch Death Battle for, the fight, wasn't all that spectacular. Don't get me wrong, the animation was smooth, it was clean. The stop motion was a bit janky for me, and the usage of their respective powers was very enjoyable, but it just wasn't as big of a celebration episode as I would have liked. In terms of criticism, let's ask some questions. Why did Wiz need to be in the lab to do the math when he's got cybernetics attached to him? Why does Wiz not like Jocelyn as an IT worker if she's so good at math that she did the math quicker than Dummy? I really didn't enjoy the consistent misdirects on the big reveal for Boomstick's dad, although, I mean, we all kind of knew who it was, right? Also, the flow of this episode just... Even Goku vs. Superman 2 had a better flow than this, and that one interjects into Man of Steel's analysis halfway by introducing Goku's rundown. Really, it's a shame that this 150th episode celebration didn't land. It was too short, it was too goofy, and for me, it was nothing special. And last I checked, as far as when this is being recorded, this is the only episode from the last season to not break 1 million views. What can I say about this episode that hasn't already been said? I mean, this Death Battle was absolutely fantastic. Quick yet captivating rundowns, more incredible animation, that clock tower fight, and a patented big fist punch, and the finisher, oh my god! Slap on a perfectly explained post-fight rundown, and we have ourselves a damn near perfect episode. I'll admit, I was hoping for my boy Alucard to pull through in this one, but I was completely okay that he didn't because of their explanation. Personally, that's one of the few things that makes a perfect Death Battle. All that considered, is there anything that can make this episode bad? Boy, okay, I don't know what to say about this episode. What can I say? I mean, it was an obvious dub for Mortal Kombat fans, and a in a huge stomp, all things considered. And don't get me started on the kill of this episode. I mean, what is this? Why? This is the worst finisher I've ever seen. Bad death battle, bad. You should do better. So imagine you're me. Sorry about that, by the way. And you've just finished the stinker of an episode that is Akuma versus Shao Kahn. And they show the next episode, and it's Korra versus Storm. Okay, look, there really wasn't any anticipation for an episode where they're throwing a Marvel Herald-level mutant at a mountain-level avatar. I mean, it was bad enough that we all knew which way this fight was going to go, and then they play up the whole, yeah, women, God is a woman. They play that bit up, and then they downplay Storm. Oh yeah, real smart to call Korra a queen, doing queen shit for her whole rundown, just to get steamrolled by a real queen of the elements. As for the fight, it's nothing special. Why are there 2 cars for 1 Korra? Also, an iceberg getting split is enough to get Storm's attention? I mean, it might have been the one that sank the Titanic, or maybe it's a mutant iceberg. Or just lazy writing. Oh, that water flick, that's pretty good.
Water, lightning, and airbending? Starting to feel a little less special here.
Wait, Korra, you're like the 50th avatar. That has happened dozens of times with other people. Of course you're not that special. Shut up. What? I thought she already went into the avatar. That kill is pretty fresh, at least. Look, there's not much for me to say here. It's a good episode, it's fine, but it's nothing special. I had no investment in either character or this rivalry in general, so the events in this fight had no innate value to me. That being said, I did enjoy both rundowns. They were both decently paced with a good amount of math for my loser brain. Personally, from what little I did know, I thought Aizen had this one in the bag. I guess he really didn't have a ghost of a chance at winning though. I agree with some of the criticisms aimed at this post-fight breakdown, specifically the argument that Madara could possibly sense the mistakes in Aizen's illusions, meaning that he could also escape them. But then again, he does have orbs that cause irreversible damage, so I guess that's gonna give you the dub either way. Look, I don't know, it's a fine episode for someone who doesn't care much about either fighter or the matchup in general. I just hope that those who wanted it got what they wished for. So this is it. The finale. The fight that celebrates 10 years of death battle. And it is amazing. Oh my gosh. This episode has got to be not only the best of the season, but maybe one of the best finales of all time. Solid storytelling with room for calcs for both characters, more incredible editing in said rundowns, not to mention a fight unlike any other. Simple, in-character setup without taking up too much time before the fists started flying. Popeye puts a wall back together, perfect. Is that a punch in the balls? Awesome. Respectfully, Saitama, get bent, loser. Look, I don't have to say anything else about this episode. You can see it with your own eyes. It's an absolute banger in every sense of the phrase. And while some points might get docked because we all knew it would be a mighty stomp, I won't dock it points because I also knew we'd get a fantastic episode no matter what. Godspeed, Saitama, and welcome back, Death Battle. And now that we've concluded on talking about the episodes, let's look at how I ranked them. Personally, I still consider Heihachi vs. Geese Howard my least favorite episode of the season. Not a bad episode by any means, but it just didn't do anything for me. And, of course, my number 1 episode was Saitama vs. Popeye, because, I mean, how can you top that? And other than that, yeah, I'm very excited for Season 9 to show up sometime soon. Hopefully I didn't jump the gun by releasing this video this Friday instead of next Friday, or next Friday. They said March, okay? I'm doing the best I can.